Today I will address criticism. I usually don't like addressing criticism in YouTube videos because you get more criticism and then you have to address that, so it goes into a feedback loop. I like addressing it on a live stream or in DMs because then it's a closed system. You just talk with the person and you come to a conclusion. But in this situation, I will, because I think it's very interesting. So people found this codex entry in Dragon Age, which gives an insight into the mind of one of the characters. And one of the things that they're saying is that they're feeling uncomfortable next to feminine characters, right? Like, femininity makes them feel uncomfortable. And the conclusion is that, well, this would explain why a lot of video games nowadays make masculine women with strong jawlines, small breasts, toxic masculine personality. Like, this would be an explanation. It would explain why they're doing it. Is because the academic ideology is that we need to be inclusive. And being inclusive means not upsetting certain people that may actually be upset if they see over-the-top femininity, if they see the Stellar Blade, right? And this is why when a game like Stellar Blade comes out, you see a lot of people with various flags and bios and paraphernalia being insanely aggressive towards the people that support these games. And this would be an explanation. But the criticism to this is that, well, no, V, you see, you can't hold it on the writer. This is just the character thing. So let me get this straight. If I was to put a sock puppet on my hand, and I would be like, "Oh yeah, kids, how you doing? I'm Whitey the polar bear. I'm going to teach you about white supremacy today. Let's talk about the Jews." And when people go like, "Well, V, that was pretty fucking anti-Semitic of you. What is wrong with it?" Well, it's not me. It's the Whitey the polar bear. Yeah, it's interesting because I see a lot of left-leaning people accusing H.P. Lovecraft of racism because of how he named his cat. And they're not very critical of that statement. Like, that doesn't get any criticism, any scrutiny at all. It's when people point out the writers from Bioware, that's when the criticism comes in. It's like, where was the criticism before that? Why is it now coming in? Oh, maybe you constructed in the meantime, right? Let me put it this way. I'm not saying that the writers are responsible for what the characters are saying. Far from it. Like, in fact, there was a person in my comment section that said, okay, so like, are you saying that because Solus wants to kill all the humans in the previous Dragon Age that the writer is... No, absolutely not. Because Solus is a character that acts within the universe. Like, the creation for Solus is purely for entertainment. And you can see that he is acting in a way that creates immersion. Like, he fits the universe. If you look at this character, Trash, this is a medieval character using academic language. They are using modern 2024 academic language. They're using words like affirming, right? It's not transitioning, it's affirming. They are saying that trans women is a woman. Like they're using, in a medieval setting, language from the university that you actually need to go in student debt in order to learn. They're using like the corporate HR thing. Secondly, the entire vibe of the game is to lecture. It removes the player choice. You do not have an ability to tell this character to fuck off. Like, you cannot be in universe. I'm not talking about the codex here. I'm talking like about the game as a whole. When the character sits you down and lectures you about the pronouns, you do not have a choice to rebel against it, to not listen, to have a renegade option. When the character goes on the fact like no one likes being a woman, right? Like you do not have as a player the opportunity to intervene. So this is why we are holding it against the writer, because the writer is using the characters as VTubers in order to push all of their trauma, to push all of their thoughts, to push all of this into the game. And not to mention, I do not think for a single second that if someone was to make a game where one character would start dropping N-bombs and they would start, actually pushing for white supremacy ideology, even if it was in the game, I don't think the left will give it a pass. I don't think that the same people that are so hypercritical of this would give it a pass. And not to mention, I don't see any Bioware writers or anyone associated with this go like, hold on a little bit. No. Like, we don't believe in this. We don't believe. I would be willing to immediately say, you know what, fine. If I see Bioware writers coming out and saying we don't believe in this, that this is just like the character, this is just how we wrote the character, this is completely separate from what we believe as writers, like obviously this is like what the fictional I'd be like, you know what, fine, okay. They're not going to do that. I guarantee to you they are not going to do that. Not a single one of them is going to do that. In fact, if you go on the forums and you post this video or you post any type of criticism to this, they will ban your ass. That's their response. Obviously, it's my opinion. You know, obviously, I can't prove that the person that's writing this has the intent, because you can't prove intent. But I'm pretty convinced from the circumstantial evidence, from the game as a whole, from the statements that the developers have given, from the presentation, from the fact that you do not have a choice, from the fact that how the people are acting. I am definitely convinced that not only this is what the writer is thinking, but I think this is what academia is thinking, because I think this is how it got into the game. It got from the academics, from the university professor, it got to the consultants team, and then the consultants team told the writers what to write, and this is what we are getting. And it also corroborates with what I hear from behind the industry. There was another interview from a person that worked on The Last of Us 2, which literally said the same thing. And that interview has been scrubbed from the internet ever since. But they also said the same thing, that the reason that you see currently in video games less and less feminine characters is due to the inclusivity agenda. It's what the inclusivity officers are telling people to do. And when you look at games that came out before 2016, when you're looking at characters from Asian games, when you're looking at gacha games and whatnot, they are making female characters very feminine. Because that's what people are wanting, actually. That's like the grassroots thing. Like, women want to see feminine characters, men want to see feminine characters. The only one that don't are the activists. And there's there must be a reason for it. So, like, fine, you don't think this is the reason? You tell me the reason. You tell me the reason why no AAA game makes women with D-sized breasts. I'm not asking for, like, hypersexualized and them being dressed as strippers. No. Like, why isn't it that female characters cannot have, in AAA gaming, D-sized breasts, even if they're covered up? I mean, there are women that have big tits, right? Why can't we have a woman that's not morbidly obese, and she just happens to have big breasts, and she's young, like she's in her 20s? Why can't we have that? What is the reason? If you don't think that this is the reason, you come up with a hypothesis, and I'm willing to listen. Let me know what you guys think, and as usual, I will see you in the comment section. Take care.